everyone. Welcome back. Please comment, rate, subscribe, folks. Comment, rate, subscribe, like the videos. Also, share the videos. I want to thank everyone that does like, watch, and share my videos. You folks are the absolute best. Listen, folks, there's a link tree down below. Has links to all of my social media platforms. Please go down there. Follow me across all my social media platforms and talk to me because I'll talk back. Also down there as well as links to all of my YouTube pages. Please go down there, subscribe to all my YouTube pages, and turn on your notifications so when I post content, you folks will be in the know. Listen, folks, today, Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern. Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern, we'll be doing a live radio show. We'll be discussing the New York Jets' upcoming game. We'll be discussing roster stuff, all types of things, New York Jets. Call in. I take live callers. I love going back and forth with you folks about this football team. So with that said and done and put to the side, I've come to talk to you folks today about Aaron Rodgers, man. Aaron Rodgers has come out and spoke with the media, all right, about his return to practice and a couple of different things, man. And I've got some tidbits from him speaking with the media, and I want to discuss this with y'all, all right? So let's go ahead and get into it. Listen, we know that recently, okay, Aaron Rodgers has been activated within the 21-day window to return to practice for the New York Jets. He's coming off of basically like 3 months and some change since he tore his Achilles, had a surgery. There's been a lot of build-up to him, you know, trying to get back on the field and coming back. He talked about it, and here he is in the 21-day window, right? And we're seeing him out there, you know, going through drills with the team and, you know, the drills that he's cleared for. We know that he's not cleared for contact as of yet. But, you know, he's out there doing his thing and doing his best to try to get back. And it's crazy to see this because, again, this is an injury that takes at least 9 to 12 months to really heal up from. And, man, it's just wild to see it. So Aaron Rodgers was asked by the media if he thought that he would be able to play a game before the close of the 21-day window, okay? Now, keep in mind the 21-day window ends right before the game, week 16, okay? And his answer to that question, if he would be able to play before the 21-day window closed, he said anything's possible. That's Aaron Rodgers, man. That's Aaron Rodgers. He also said that he's going to push harder these next 2 weeks. He's going to push that Achilles harder than they have before. You know, I'm pretty sure he's really just trying to test where he is to see if he can get out there. Now, it would be unbelievable in my mind to see him go out there and play before the close of the 21-day window. But the way that A-Rod is pushed to get back, I mean, I mean, anything is possible at this point, right? He also admitted that if he were to see the field again this season, he would not be at 100%. And here's where the whole situation, as I've said before, gave me pause. Here's the deal. I've said this and I'm going to keep saying it, okay? And I understand that he is filled with motivation to silence the haters, to silence people that think that for whatever reason, some people are trying to run with a narrative that he's not committed to the Jets, or silence the naysayers, the people that don't believe that he can do it, and all these things. And look, I get that. That's what motivates Aaron Rodgers. That's what gives him that competitive edge, because he's constantly fighting all of these narratives and all these things about him. And I'm going to show people that I can do it, even if it's against, you know, just everything that you can think, the laws of your mind. That doesn't apply to me. I'm just going to keep pushing. Like, I get that. The motivation, the tenacity, I get it. But here's the deal, okay? We live in a world which is based on reality. At least that's where I live. He's a 40-year-old man. If he goes out there and he's not 100%, there's a real chance that he can re-injure this thing. And I understand, right, that people are like, well, you know, if he re-injures it, and he talked to the media about it, about the risk of injury as well. And he just said, well, what's the worst that can happen? If I re-injure it, well, then it's, you know, 5-6 more months of rehab, and then we'll see what's up. I'm not interested in that, because if he goes out there and re-injures the Achilles or re-tears it or does something worse to it, it's going to affect him. it's going to affect it could affect his play. It really could greatly, right? We've seen guys tear their ACLs or MCLs and stuff like that in this league. And some of those guys, yeah, they were able to come back, but a lot of those guys were not the same. They just weren't the same, especially, different positions and stuff like that. They just weren't the same coming back. And I feel like one of the things that is part of A-Rod's game that we talk about is his ability to kind of escape the pocket and make some plays with his feet. We've seen that. He's notorious for it. Not only is he a great thrower from the pocket, but he evades pressure. He can move around. He's a guy that you can't really pin down. And I feel like, bro, if you tear your Achilles twice and you were coming off of that, especially at 40 years old, that mobility is going to be hindered. It is. And that could cost him, especially when you're looking at what we're looking at in this offensive line. Now, he did talk about how he's not looking to get back out on the field until he knows that he can fully protect himself. But, bruh, if you go out there and tear your Achilles again next season, there's going to be some issues, especially if you got a guy barreling down and you used to be able to just kind of sidestep, move up, and use your agility to kind of evade and make a play. And that's not all the way there because you've torn your Achilles twice and physically your body is feeling the effects of that. So I'm not interested in that. But he did say, that, hey, he's not worried about it. What's the worst that can happen? He also said that if he does re-injure it, it will not hinder or impact his decision to come back in 2024. All right. That's big. That's big, right? Because that was the big question for me as well, was that if he goes out there and hurt himself again, what happens? Is the next season in peril? Is it done? Is he finished? But he said, it's not going to impact. I'm going to come back, basically, right? All right. Now, one of the things that he said as well is that a big part of him coming back, a big part of it, right, is contingent on the Jets being able to make the playoffs. If they're still alive, right, if they're still alive, possibly to make a playoff and possibly go for a playoff run, then that's really going to give him an ounce of motivation to get back out there on the field. But if they're dead, more than likely, it's a done deal, right? Which makes sense. He also talked about how the front office probably wouldn't sign off on that if the Jets' playoff hopes are dead, that they're not going to put him back on the field because it's not very smart, which makes sense. It makes sense, right? You wouldn't want him to go out there during a dead week and really go out there and possibly re-injure himself basically for nothing. Me personally, and I've been very clear about this, I don't want to see him back on the field at all this season. I would rather him wait 2024, we retool the offensive line, we add weapons, with free agency and the draft and all this other stuff, right? All the things we have available to us to make this team better. I would rather us go that route and then have A-Rod back, properly protected, fully, completely healed from the Achilles tear, ready to go. We're going to push forward, and now here's our chance to win a Super Bowl, for the next, I think he's going to be here probably 2, maybe 3 more years. So I'm looking at the future right now. That's what I'm looking at, okay? But I understand that there's a lot of Jets fans that are not thinking like that. A lot of Jets fans are saying we want to see him on the field today when he's fully ready, and I'm not with that. I'm being completely honest with you. I feel like the Jets would be playing with fire if they were to do that. That's just how I feel, but comment down below. Another part of what he said as well, because there have been not only Jets fans, media, all these things that are really out for the New York Jets coaches and their front office. And when asked by the media if his, return next season would be contingent on Sulla, Hackett, and Joe Douglas returning as well, he said that felt like a trap question, which is smart because it kind of is. But he did say that he feels like the people that we have here, right? Sulla, Hackett, and Joe Douglas, he feels like they have a recipe for success, okay? I'm going to keep it all the way real with you. And again, I want y'all to comment down below. Let me know what y'all think. If you fire any one of those guys, or if you clear out this whole staff and fire Joe Douglas, Aaron Rodgers is not going to come back here. And I've talked about this before. Excuse me. I think a lot of people forget that the New York Jets, at one point, before Joe Douglas got here, it was a complete circus. It was a circus. It was a circus. Even getting Joe Douglas was like wild in itself because of how we actually ended up with him. Anybody forget Adam Gase was here with Mike McCagnon, who had been ruining the team for years as a general manager. They fired Todd Bowles, brought in Adam Gase because we couldn't get any top coaching candidates to sign off to come here, right? That was part of the circus atmosphere. Nobody wanted to come and deal with the Jets, the ownership, the fan base that was going to be on top of you 24 hours a day that wanted to win at all costs, and the media. Nobody wanted to deal with that, okay? So Mike McCagnon gets a free agency and a draft and then gets fired after it because Adam Gase went to the ownership because at that time, ownership or the GM and the coach were on the same footing with ownership, which was crazy. And they ended up firing him after a free agency and a draft. And the GM search was all about who could work with Adam Gase. And Joe Douglas was a guy that he had relationship with in the past. They knew each other through and through, were really cool with each other, and that's how we ended up with the great Joe Douglas. Like the guy that has really helped really turn this franchise around. But before that, this place was a circus. And Aaron Rodgers saw that from the outside looking in, from McCagnon, Bowles, and McCagnon and Gase and all that stuff. And he talked about it. The pre-joint practices, sitting down, the preseason joint practices, sitting down with and watching us and being like, hey, this team has something. And then we played them during the season and beat them, bad. And he was like, whoa, this defense is serious business. Like, this is a really good football team. And that's what had him make his mind up, this recent offseason, I want to be a Jet. He looked at the organizational structure and said, this is a place where I can come and win, right? Because look at, he knows. He could have walked off into the sunset as a Hall of Famer, but he said, you know what, I want to go there because they have some good things in that building. They have good leadership, and you need leadership in this league to win. And we should know that because for years we had bad leadership. We were a franchise that was void of leadership, and we were losers, okay? So I personally think if you get rid of those guys, he is gone, all right? But he did just say, hey, we have a recipe for success. So comment down below. Let me know what you folks think. How do you folks feel about Aaron Rodgers speaking to the media? Are you concerned as I am as concerned, about him possibly re-injuring that Achilles and it hindering him going forward? What are your thoughts about him talking about, Sulla and Hackett and Joe Douglas being the recipe for success? Let me know. Comment down below. You folks have a good one. Peace.